next, I want to show you event registration form builder, which is, again, another cool use case you can build with Formaloo. Let's start with a survey. Just as a change. And so here we go with our survey. Let's edit the space and customize it. Actually, it would be better if I started with a form because it's a registration form, but never mind, we can change it even now. So I don't want it to be one question at a time. Let me show you how one question at a time looks like. You see here, we have all of the options and you can submit the form right here. So, but I don't want it to be one question at a time. I want it to be a classic form, and I want to show all questions on the same page. Let's say this is the an event registration form, and let's delete the questions. Actually, if we started with the form template, it will be much better. All right, so let's ask for the basic information first, right? The full name, email, and whatever we need for from the users who want to register for this event. So and maybe phone number and etc. Now we want to ask for some other cool thing. Let's ask for the event type they want to register for. Let's say there are multiple event types and people can register for different events, and we give them this possibility. So I have a list of event types here that actually I want to bulk insert into my choice field. So the user selects one of these event types, and based on that, I want to show different fields. So if they select annual conference, I want to show questions about annual conference registration. So I added a content field to have segment and segment the questions. It's easier for me to categorize and understand what's happening on my form. So here I have which days will you attend, and it will be a question. It will be a single choice question, or maybe multi-choice. Let's say it's multi-choice because we have multiple days. So let's say it's day 1, day 2, day 3. And next, I want to ask for maybe what's their track preference. In this case, I want it to be a single choice, so I can see what exactly people are looking for. And yeah, so I will insert them anyway. So, oh, I went back by mistake. All right, so this is one of the sections. Let's add another section for the second option, which is the workshop series. So I added a content field for workshop series registration, and here I add the questions for workshop series registration. So the first question will be a single choice again for the workshops you want to attend, and maybe it's like workshop A and B and C. So here are the questions for workshop registration. You can do the same for the rest of the choices, maybe one section for networking mixer, one section for product launch, and etc. So now let's save things and preview the form. So as you see here, we see everything right here. But I don't want to show everything right away to the user. I want them to select these fields, and based on their selection, I want to show the right question. So if they choose annual conference, they only see the questions on their annual conference. If they select the workshop series, they only see the questions on their workshop series. So let's get back to the editor and see how it can be done super easily. So click the question where the logic should happen, which is which event are you registering for? Here we add a rule that says if the event is annual conference, then I want to show the fields related to annual conference. The first field is the segment. So then show annual conference registration. And also I want to show which days will you attend, right? And then I want to show, select your track preference. So in this case, these fields will show up. And I want to add another rule. So if it was the workshop option, which is the second one, I want to show the questions and fields relevant to the workshop series. So workshop series registration, which is the segment, and also select the workshops you want to attend. So this is this is it. So let's preview the form again and see in action. As you see, we don't see any other fields here. Why? Oh, you don't see it. So as you see, we don't see any other fields here. Why? Because by default, the questions are hidden. As you see here, let me explain it in detail. So we say if option 1 was selected, then show these fields. This means that by default, these fields are hidden, and they will be shown only if option 1 was selected on this form. Same for here. By default, these two fields are hidden based on this rule, unless option 2 is selected on this form, on this field, right? So you don't have to take care of the hide option, because it Formaloo takes care of it. You don't have to do anything else. Just say show this if that happens, and Formaloo will take care of the rest of the things. You don't need to say, okay, if it was this, then hide them, because it will break your logic. So let's see, I select annual conference, and you see the questions relevant to annual conference. And I select workshop series, and it shows the questions relevant to workshop series. And it hides the annual conference. As I said, Formaloo automatically takes care of the hide option. When you select the show rule, you don't have to create another rule for hiding it, because it will break your rule. Just take care of one option. Maybe you want them shown by default and hidden in some situations. So just think of the default. What do you want the default to be? In this case, we want the default nothing. We don't want to show anything, right? We want them shown only in specific situations. So the logic rule will only take care of the show, and the rest of it is done automatically. And this is the show hide option. And show hide option happens on classic forms, which show all of the questions on the same page, because the questions are here and they show or hide. But if you want to, you see, if I select these two options, nothing is shown because they don't have any logic rule. And this option is not selected. So the options under it get hidden. So show hide option happens on classic forms. But if you change your form to one question at a time, your logic will change to jump, because your fields are, let me change it to show you how it's shown. So here you see my logic is changed, and you don't see anything here because there's no show. So I need to jump to a specific question. So if the annual conference was selected, I want to show the annual conference registration. But this is the next question, so it goes to the next question by default. I don't have to jump through. So it will be shown by default. But let's say if it was a workshop series, I don't want to show these questions. I want to jump to workshop series, right? And we don't need the rest of the rules here. Let me delete the rest of the rules. So yeah, we only need one option right now, but you can do it for network mixer and product launch as well. So if they select workshop series, we will jump through all of these questions and we will show the workshop series registration. And by default, it shows the next question as well. So maybe if you had other options for network mixer and product launch, you need to maybe at the end of this, because after this, it will go to the network mixer question. So on this here, you can add another logic rule to go to the ending page or submit the form like this. Is answered maybe, and then, or not even a rule, so it can be always submit the form. So if you have other questions that you don't want to show in this case, you can always submit the form on this specific question. Let's delete this one because it's the last question, so by default it submits the form. You don't need to add that. And yeah, so here we have the logic, and if it's option 2, it jumps to workshop series. Let's preview and see how it's working. I'm skipping the basic information. Let's select annual conference. We see the annual conference header. And if I select workshop series, I go to the workshop series. And as you go on. So as you see, logic works based on, oh, you didn't see my tab. Okay. Let me show you again. So as you see here, I skipped my basic question. If I select annual conference, it shows the annual conference registration. And if I select the workshop series, it shows the workshop series. You can, of course, go back and select annual conference to see the annual conference question. So this is how logic works. On one question at a time logic, we have the jump logic, and on classic form, we have the show hide logic. And you can change the logic however you want. You can explore actually the logic. One more important thing is the logic map overview. Uh, Always make sure to check your logic map, because usually what we see in our users forms is the box can be found easily on the logic map. If you have a node, a question in your logic that is not connected from anything, like and no question goes to this node, it means it's a lost question. So that's the broken link in your logic. So make sure that your logic map makes sense. You can see from full name, we go to email. Then from email, we go to this question that asks for the event type. And if the workshop series is selected, it goes to which days will you attend. But if any other question is selected, it goes to the annual conference, which is the next question after this question. So always check your logic map, because it tells you a lot about what could be wrong about your logic, and it helps you a lot in terms of if your logic is working properly as you wish or not. And always make sure that all fields in your logic map have an entering node and a node going out to the next question. So this way you make sure that your logic is working properly. And of course, you can add logic in your map as well by just clicking one of the questions and adding rules to it. As you see here, we have the logic here, and I click this question and I can change it based on what I need. and you can change logic here and see the changes right away. And also in the advanced logic, you have more options like on submitting the form and etc. And it's a good way to evaluate your how your logic processes are going.